to shine your light. It isn't just for you, it's for everybody else that's been watching what you do. You can talk that talk, but the walk shows what is true. Are you a hypocrite or the proud and the few?
Hi, my name is Pedro Silva, and today I'm going to talk to you about the three wants that are probably making your life a struggle. Number one, I want to be loved. Number two, I want to belong. And number three, I want to be alive. Now, when you look at the surface, you may think to yourself, how does wanting to be loved, want to belong, and wanting to be alive create struggle in your life? But the key to it is that word want. Want essentially means lack. It means you don't have it and you want it. And when you get it, you'll feel better. So if you want to be loved, then you're probably operating out of a place of not feeling loved. If you want to belong, you're probably operating out of a place where you don't feel like you belong. And if you want to be alive, you're probably operating out of a place that is mostly motivated by the fear of death. So we're going to get into each one of those. But the reason why I'm sharing these is because I find myself being rather frustrated right now with how people engage with one another. I've observed over decades that there's a lot of unconsciousness going on in terms of what motivates us. And many of us, because of the fear of loss, are not vulnerable enough to admit that we're struggling. And since we won't admit that we're struggling, we pretend to be strong. And out of that pretense, we actually create a lot of harm. And so rather than be angry, I've decided to try to teach. In fact, one day I was feeling quite angry and I was talking to God, and this settled in my spirit, don't be angry, teach. So this is my attempt to do that. So we're going to start with number one. I want to be loved. Of course you do. Every human being wants to be loved. I mean, you watch the movies and romance and all those other things. Who doesn't want to be loved? When you come into the world, you see your parents, you think of them as gods, whether consciously or unconsciously, and you want them to adore you. And it's just natural to want to be loved. And at the same time, most of us don't feel like we're worthy of love. And so if you don't feel like you're worthy of love because you're stuck in the zone of I want to be loved, that means you're experiencing the absence of love. You want to receive the presence of love. You want to be loved. But when you don't feel like you're worthy of that thing you're asking for, do you know that actually that thing that you don't think you deserve when it comes towards you, most humans will sabotage it. In my experience, most humans, when someone tries to offer them something they think that they don't deserve, they either will feel like they're stolen, like they're getting away with something. And there's this pervasive guilt of, I don't even deserve this. I don't earn this. And because we live in a society that's very transactional, what ends up happening is someone, they love you for free and you don't think you deserve it. What you'll end up doing is doing everything you can to bring the relationship down to a level where you feel like you do deserve. And that is an epidemic of mass proportions. And I have to be honest, as I try to look back and figure out how did we get in this situation, I have to say, at least in my experience, I don't feel this way myself. I know I'm loved, which is crazy because there's been stories of why I should not know that I'm loved since I came into this world. It's like, you black single mother having no money, having, how dare you love yourself? And I've even, in fact, had people when I was growing up tell me that I shouldn't love myself. But I do love myself largely because I know that I'm loved by my creator. And whether you're religious or not religious, they I personally would say that love is the energy that holds all things together, that brings all things into harmony, um, that brings one into deeper relationship with those outside of oneself so that one receives more of themselves and that they help others receive more of themselves in return. And you don't necessarily need religion for that. I personally choose it. I personally love the idea of a creator that just loves us and wants the best for us. And I receive that. However, I found that in a society where you're not supposed to think you're worthy unless you've earned it or achieved it, it does make you a little weird. And most of us, because we want to fit in, ding, 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 we want to belong. We don't want to be weird. We want to be accepted by the standards of the society around us. And so if your society says, you know who the cool people are? It's the people who have these clothes. You know who the people who deserve them is the people with these bodies. It's the people with these skin colors, the people with this. These are the people that belong. And most of us, because we compare ourselves to other people, and we think that certain people inherently deserve this love and this belonging that we don't have, we kind of use a sense of adjacency to make ourselves feel like we are worthy of this earthly standard of loving and belonging. I, for one, give two hoops about that. But unfortunately, it turns out a lot of people feel like they need permission from the rest of the world to belong and to be loved. The operation or the paradigm that I operate from is my belonging is not in question whatsoever. I exist, and I exist because all of the forces, chemicals, DNA, or whatever got together, had a Congress, and voted. Pedro exists. And the shortcut is that, as I say, God decided that I exist. And if God decided that I exist, then I automatically belong. That's just how it is. I don't need anybody's permission. I'm not asking for it. No one can take my belonging away. No one can take my belovedness away. Unfortunately, my brothers and sisters, many of us, for one reason or another that I don't get, feel like they need permission from other people to belong and to be loved. And as long as you think you need that, as long as you want that, and it's lacking, then the power of for you to feel that is determined by other people. But here's the secret: most of those people don't feel like they deserve it either. So now you got people being the gatekeeper of your love and belonging who don't think that they deserve it themselves. And so they keep moving the needle or moving the goalpost or whatever you want to call it, to what makes you feel worthy. I got to have $1 million. I got to have this. I got to have that. And those people are empty. So you can't judge yourself by that. I mean, you can, and most of y'all do. But sadly, my friend, wanting those things from people who don't even feel like they deserve it will only make you feel emptier. So let's move on. When you feel that empty, you basically ultimately feel like you don't deserve to be alive. You want to be alive, and aliveness is like this feeling of like, man, I wish I could share it with y'all. I wish I could share with. I wish I could say words. I mean, I try to be a pastor thinking I could say words and make it happen. And this is me saying words, but this is more of a sense of it's emerging from my own aliveness. And I hope that you get something out of it. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But what I can say from here is aliveness is amazing, man. Aliveness is amazing. Like from the place of aliveness, you never get bored. Everything is mostly beautiful. Possibilities abound. You don't meet a person that isn't a potential friend. And because your belongingness isn't in question, you assume everyone else belongs too. And so you're coming from this abundance of aliveness, this abundance of belonging, and this abundance of love. And unfortunately, you run into people and find out they don't think they're worthy, and it can kind of get weird. But I can tell you that you are alive. But some of us, we're alive and don't even know we're alive. How sad is that? Because we are waiting for someone else to tell us it's okay. So if you need someone else to tell you it's okay for you to be alive, to belong, that you do belong, and that you are loved, here I am, a person telling you. You don't need my permission, but I'm putting it out there anyway. Because what I feel this planet and this country is struggling with the most is these feelings of not deserving these things. Like America, it's on a path of self-destruction. Why is America on a path to self-destruction? Because America does not feel like it deserves the things that it says it has. We don't feel collectively that we deserve abundance. because we know, without any offense put toward anybody, that the lands were stolen. We don't feel like we belong. We feel the fear of the judgments of the creator of the universe, or whatever it is that we feel, because we know we stole people. We know that we have our hands tied in pretty much every corrupt thing it can be it can be in, just so we can have enjoy what we think life is about, which is getting things, which it actually isn't about that. But there's this underlying like buzz of like guilt and shame because we know our hands are dirty and we can't enjoy our food. We can't enjoy the gifts because we know our hands are gross. There's blood all over and there's dirt and there's griminess. But here's the thing: you actually can wash your hands. You actually can be redeemed. And I'm not talking about through religion. I'm not talking about through church. I'm talking about through taking ownership of these, shifting from wanting to desiring to receiving. And what I mean by that is, like, sometimes I'll say inside of myself, oh, I want this. And I'll say, oh, I want this. Then I'll say, thank you automatically. I want this. No, I desire this. No, thank you for this. I receive this. And what I mean by that is, like, if there is something inside of me that has a desire, because all things from my perspective come from the love of a creator or the universe or whatever, and it's emerging inside of me, then I know that there's some holiness in it. There's some beauty in it. There's some aliveness in it. It's inviting me to see even more how I belong and how loved I am. And so when I allow myself to receive that, and that doesn't mean materially, just like spiritually in my essence, when I'm able to allow myself to do that, I'm able to feel like the gift of aliveness here and now, unalloyed belonging, love, and aliveness. And when I allow myself to receive it, which is most of the time, I get centered and rested in it. And all I want is for everybody to have it. And not because you don't have it. I want you to know that you have it. But, I'm just one dude. At any rate, um, my desire, thank you, I receive it, for you all, is that you will be curious enough that you will wonder, how did you get into this situation where you thought you didn't deserve love? And take an honest inventory of the stories that you've been told, maybe by your family or friends or society or whatever it is that makes you feel like you're not worthy of love, belonging, and aliveness. Question it, because it does not make sense. Receive your love, your belongingness, your aliveness, and then emerge from that. And I know I probably make it sound easy, and that's only because it is easy. It is actually easy. It's very, very easy. Very easy. And the only trick is people who want to manipulate you, make you think it's hard, make you think it's supposed to be earned and deserved. And that if you worked hard for it, then you could have it. And we do that in everything. We do it in relationships. Like, we could have loving, easy, harmonious relationships by just appreciating each other, but we don't. We could have uh, equity in all of our institutions, but because everyone's operating from this place of want, this place of lack, especially these Christians, I don't even get you guys. And I say you guys because y'all, I don't even know where y'all coming from. It says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And we want all day long. And we see other people as threats to us getting what we want. Doesn't have to be that way. But alas, we have not taken responsibility for our stories and our narratives. People come into the world, someone tells them who they are, what they're about, where they belong, and they just like, this is what you got to do. Then we just accept it, buy that story, and ride it out to the rest of our life. Oh, my brothers and sisters, please, please, please question these things. Question these things, man. I would love to go deeper and break it down into classes and break it down and give you some tools and things like that help you tap into the awareness that you're loved, the awareness that you belong, and that your aliveness is like the biggest and best and most beautiful treasure. But I'm gonna not do it unless people express interest, because right now this fruit that I'm sharing is just emerging from my soul. It's emerging from, loving my kids and things like that. And so I'm just kind of putting something out there. But again, just to recap, the three wants that make people struggle in this world is wanting to be loved, wanting to belong, and wanting to be alive. And the cure for it is accepting that you are beloved, you do belong, you are alive, and all of life is trying to live through you and do amazing and wonderful things, not for the world to see, but just for you to enjoy, just for you to feel the joy. Like, I'll have this tea, you can't see it because it's virtual background. I got a tea in my hand, and I'm thrilled that I get a chance to drink this green tea with a little agave nectar and feel everything that it took to bring this to my lips for me to enjoy it. It's ecstasy, bro. And I'm not on ecstasy. It's ecstasy. And I would love for y'all to receive it. And I'll do what I can. Anyway, peace. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We got to start creating community with people who are celebrating their aliveness and their belongingness and their belovedness, and stop asking for permission, man. Please do it for yourself. Peace.
When you shine your light, it isn't just for you, it's for everybody else that's been watching what you do. You can talk that talk, but the walk shows what it's true. Are you a hypocrite or the proud and the few? Woo! That's the kind of question I ask myself daily, trying to get back to my roots as if my name was Alex Haley. You don't like my style, but never will you play me, cause I'ma shine my light till the day that they take me. You say I know the way, cause if you do, I'm supposed to. I'm glad you chose me, even when I hadn't chose you. The world is out of order, and everybody knows it. How's a nation under you when all you are, it opposes you? If they gon' be that pharaoh, then I'm gon' be that